Do you see a difference between your family life when you were in Canada and your family life when you got here in Uganda? Hi guys, welcome to the Repart podcast. My name is Joanita Maaya. On today's episode, we are discussing family life and upbringing in the diaspora versus Africa. But before we go any further, please introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. Ladies first.
Ladies first.
This time first.
Yeah.
On you.
So I'm Racheal Nalumu, and I'm a content creator here in Uganda, from Canada and Uganda. And yeah, I'm on YouTube and Instagram.
I'm DJmaintain.
Yeah.
I'm a DJ and producer
Yeah.
living in Uganda for 4 years.
Yeah.
Pretty much if you've been out in Kampala, you've stumbled across one of my parties.
Yeah.
So that's
That's
basically
it.
it. Yeah.
Just to give people a background, can you give us like a snippet of your family life where you grew up?
Yeah, sure. Would you like to take this or?
Okay, I'll try and make it short because I
Yeah.
feel like I have like very different, two different opinions or whatever. But so I'm Ugandan, but I was born in Sweden. Then my parents went to Canada when I was about 2.
Yeah.
And then I was there my whole life until I moved here about 3 years ago. And so I had a very heavy Ugandan upbringing because it was like moving a Ugandan to Canada, but they didn't really assimilate much. And then very Canadianized, but then so many influences from very many cultures because I grew up in Toronto area. So many different like Caribbeans as well, other Africans, Europeans mainly, not so many like white Canadians, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, my story, part of it. My parents moved to London from the Caribbean when they were teenagers. They had 4 kids, which I'm the youngest of 4. Raised in a very, very strict, loving Caribbean household. I feel more Caribbean than I am Black British.
Yeah.
Been living in Uganda for 4 years. Yeah, it'll be 4 years in August now. And that's my story. Yeah.
Well, I also give my background, even
you want to hear it? Come on.
Perspective, yes.
I'm a Muganda, but I was not born in the central. I was born in the west.
Right.
So just like you, I was also exposed to like so many tribes because right now I can speak 7 different local languages.
Wow.
Because
Holy
I grew up
crap.
in the west. Yeah, a family of 4, very monogamous, strict. A strict Catholic man, to be exact.
Oh wow!
Add Catholic in there somewhere.
Also Catholic.
Snap.
Very Catholic mother. My goodness.
Yeah. But that's it. But tell us, do you see a difference between your family life when you were in Canada and your family life when you got here in Uganda? Because is your dad here?
My dad goes back and forth.
Yeah,
he goes back and forth. Huge difference. But I had very lenient Ugandan parents. Like I was actually at my uncle's this weekend. We were laughing about my mom's upbringing.
Yeah.
And the more I've been here, the more I've realized she was very privileged at the time, like growing up, when she was younger. So, like a lot of traditional things that most like Baganda would do, like kneeling when your elders, kneeling around. Like I just hug my grandpa, hug my judges, like they don't mind. I don't kneel. My mom doesn't kneel. So it's just really funny, like certain things where they're very Ugandan in certain aspects, but very my dad was just raised by the wolves. So for him,
Raised by the wolves.
yeah,
like
literally. So for him, he also was just very like lenient. But my mom is very Catholic, very well brought up, very mannered. People always laugh about it. I don't know the different schools, but Namugunga, I think. So she's a very like Catholic proper. She doesn't even walk on grass to this day. Like she's so weird.
Really?
Yeah,
That's not a joke.
Yeah, no, that's serious.
real.
Like
And the
she'll
reason-
walk around, like unless it's like a picnic or something. But if you're
Wow.
walking to an establishment, I
And
will
there's a
cut through.
pavement.
And if
Yeah.
there's a pavement, she's like,
And the reason for that is?
it's just they're
No
brought up so
trespassing.
strict. Like
Yeah.
at their
Really?
school, they're proper Catholic girls. Yeah.
Wow.
So like I have just a blend of a lot of weird things.
Wow, I've never heard of that
Yeah.
before, like dodging grass.
Right? So then they moved to Canada, and I think Canadian culture humbled them. And I'm the eldest daughter, and I'm very outgoing, very outspoken. very extroverted. So I think for them it was like, whoa, what do we do with our kids? Was this a good idea? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, saying, have you seen a difference? Because you actually have a family in Uganda, yeah?
Yes, I do. So you know what? I found more, to my surprise, there's a lot more similarities. Like I was raised in a Catholic family as well, so I went to
Caribbean.
so I went primary school was a Catholic school, secondary school, high school was Catholic as well. But I found very similar, like the discipline and the strong like parental roles between mothers and fathers in some cases, and I found a lot more similarities.
Is
for
this
sure.
the Caribbean and Ugandan versus the UK and Ugandan? Okay.
Yeah. So let me make that clear. So a lot of similarities between like a Caribbean household and a Ugandan household. But I found a lot of similarities.
Yeah, most people looking from the outside, every time when someone thinks of a family life in Africa, they think polygamy. You know, like most times think it's like, oh, every African man has like 2 wives and 4 wives. It's like, I can't wait to come to Africa, I'll get 4 wives. And it's like,
slow down.
If you're Muslim, but like the other ones are doing it in secrecy and a headache because it's not supposed to be that way.
Yeah,
Like
but most times
religiously.
people think when you're in Africa, the family life has to be like polygamous. I happen to have a friend and the dad has, I think, like 4 wives in each district.
What?
Oh, he's a Muslim, so he built a house.
Wait, 1 wife in each district, 4
No,
wives?
4 wives in each district. So maybe let's say.
4 wives in each district.
Okay, let's look at Bukoto, Ntinda, Nakawa. So like 1 wife has a house here, and then down the street there's another house for another wife, and they're all built with the same structure, same design, same paint. The get is the same.
So if he mistakenly walks into one, he knows exactly where to go, no matter where he is.
You just know the difference by location.
Sorry,
I just don't even have words. I'm trying to collect my thoughts.
Because when I grew up in the town, everyone just knew him for that. Like
that sounds mad expensive though.
But he was rich, and he is rich.
Even if you're not even expensive, my thing is, isn't it a headache? Like, don't you get tired?
But
where do you land?
He has a school, so all the kids go to that school. So school fees is not
the kids. But like, as a man, like, okay, as just a person, don't you get exhausted having to juggle so many? And like, on the other side, as a woman, what if you want your man on Tuesday, but he's at the other house? Like, I don't know. Like,
weirdly, the co-wives had like a relationship.
A WhatsApp group.
Oh, like
I'm joking. I'm playing.
Like Lil Wayne and his baby mom.
Yeah,
they all get along. They're all very happy.
I think that's the
and then
best
the kids
way.
also like if one kid wanted to visit the person, they'd go visit and they had the same respect and whatnot. It was a to me it didn't look so weird.
As a woman who like when I'm in a relationship, I'm I'm overly about my I couldn't do that.
Yeah, but they do that. So like they do that. It does happen.
See you every day.
Wow. As a man. And this is my own personal opinion, I'm not speaking for all men.
Yeah.
I just, it sounds appealing.
Yeah.
But I just can't see.
Is it sustainable?
No, but I think your thing it's hectic. But he had like people working for him to like make sure he kept on schedule of everything. So like if the child needs money, he has to like the child goes through the PA like I want this and this and this. And then the PA will discuss with the dad which child needs what.
Like that.
Not with money.
I just feel like it all sounds great until you put your emotions in it. Like,
and he's still collecting more wives.
But there'd be a deficit. Okay, if you're a wife who's okay with that, like if you're a woman who's like, I don't need to see my man every day. I get tired. I'm good seeing him once a week. I'm busy doing other. Then that works.
She's definitely like, sorry, she's got a boyfriend.
The wife?
Like how are you meeting all your needs as a person?
The traditional women. No, the traditional women.
Oh yeah. So he picks.
Yeah, like women in the village, saves her from the village and then like puts her in a house. I mean,
well, if I were her in the village, I'd have a boyfriend.
I just.
But to keep on track, like most people look at the family life in Uganda or Africa as someone who's just polygamous. Like you have to be polygamous. Yeah, but one thing I can say for sure about the family life, on the other hand, I feel like in Africa, in Uganda, it's a bit more strict. Yeah. It's really, really strict. You guys have freedom. You guys have. I feel like you grew up with freedom.
Okay, so
I'd have to disagree.
This is why? Okay, yeah.
I have to disagree. Really? My upbringing was strict. Like there were, I'll say, for instance, other ways that I had a lot of freedom and leniency because I was a very good sports person as a kid.
Yeah.
So my parents gave me leeway in like getting home late from certain like sporting
So
events.
you use your sports to lie.
Yeah.
I know if I was gonna front, man.
Yeah.
You got
You're
me.
like, I'm trying to make it make sense. I'm like, just say what you want to say.
Yeah, I'm playing away in I live in London. I'm playing
Yeah.
away in Manchester this weekend, Dad. I got.
Something.
But my parents were strict.
Maintain. Would you
Strict.
talk back to your parents when
No.
you were a kid? Really?
Not even now.
I feel like when I say things, I'm like, oh, you guys maybe had the opportunity
No,
to talk back
no.
and say
Worst
something.
If I spoke back to my mum and
Rachel, what do you mean you're the worst example?
I feel like you need a Ugandan because all my other friends
I
would be
feel like
what
you need a
you need a Ugandan who
Yeah.
had more of like because
Yeah.
everybody else was what he's saying was
Yeah.
that was their
Yeah, yeah.
situation. Like I said, I grew up with like I think my dad being like the more like dominant of rules and whatever in the house, like most like the man is ahead, whatever. He raised us like as though we were friends, right? Like very like, oh, my daughter is my friend, but like we were allowed to have an open dialogue
must have been so nice.
until it came to bite him when we became teenagers.
Oh right.
Then it was
yeah.
like, he was like, "Who? Have some respect." I'm like, "You're my friend, so I'm gonna tell you what it is." Oh my god! People were like,
Wow.
how in a Ugandan home? How?
Yeah, how
But
you-
obviously boundaries. Like I couldn't do what like a lot of my white friends
Yeah.
were doing. Like they were having sleepovers at 16 with their boyfriends. My parents were like,
Oh.
"What?
What?
What?"
My parents wanted
Yeah.
like a criminal background check. Like
the people-
if my parents were telling me off
Yeah.
and I'm just standing there like that and I went like this and scratched my head, but I moved my hand too quick. Oh, you want to fight me?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, no, my head's itching. Like,
Yeah. Oh, you're not listening then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
That's
like my
yeah,
parents
that's
were
intense.
strict. Like, and in the Caribbean community where I grew up in London, all our parents were like that. Like, you see guys get into trouble, like on road, right? With the police, for example. And say I knew him and I saw him and I'd be like, bruv, what's going on? He'd be like, don't tell my parents.
Yeah.
He's been thrown in the back of a police van. His only
Literally, that's the
concern is
first thing.
Yeah.
not
That
the
was me
criminal
too.
record,
Yeah.
not the lawyer.
It
was like, don't tell my parents.
Yeah.
Like,
That was me
strict
in
when I
school
grew up.
Too,
Yeah.
to the point
Yeah.
where they would be like, "Are you being beat at home?" It's like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's just a disappointment of an
Yeah.
African parent.
Yeah. It's
So
it's
I have a
so-
question, guys.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
you raise your kids the way you guys were raised?
50%. Because
Yeah.
I feel like kids these days be trying it. What
Oh,
do you
they
mean you're
always
talking
try
back
it.
to me?
They always try it.
No.
They always try it.
No, but I can see. I
What's
think
the issue with the talking back?
no, it's like
Okay, talking back with an attitude,
Oh,
head
yeah.
rolling,
It's
yes.
talking back
but open
anyway,
dialogue,
yeah.
I think
communication is
normal.
fine, but
Yeah.
like talking about what you're also trying to raise your voice, like we're competing.
Oh no! If they're speaking to you and they're disciplining
Okay, yeah, no,
you,
I don't think
Yeah.
I could.
like just for me, I
couldn't do that either.
I just shut up.
And the thing
I
is,
just keep my head
Yeah.
down.
yeah.
So you
Keep
couldn't
it-
even talk to
Maintain
express
went
your
through a
point.
lot.
Yeah, right.
I feel
were
for
they in
you.
the military?
So like, I don't know what it is. It's like it, cause my dad's not that many years removed from, I suppose, his grandparents and great grandparents living on a slave plantation, right?
Right.
So it's like I think
Yeah,
it's like learned behavior, like
Yeah.
discipline means beating.
Yeah.
And like talking back means like, I don't know, insubordination or whatever, how my
Yeah.
dad or my mum looked at it. My
Yeah.
mum was a little bit more lenient, but my mum was, sometimes I deserved it because I was
You're
a
doing the
boy.
most.
I love sport.
Yeah.
I was breaking stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
needed to get beaten.
In African homes, when you talk back, it's like then they'll bring up a clan meeting. You see that thing where they're arresting someone and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, don't tell my parents."
Yeah.
You pray they don't tell your aunties because
Yeah,
a
yeah.
small
Thank
issue is going to
us.
be exaggerated.
Right,
it's like
right.
the thing you did. Oh, you scratched your head. Oh, he's now big-headed. He
Yeah.
thinks he's a man. He wants to take care of the household now. You
Yeah.
understand? It's like they
Yeah.
make. Do you see how we seated here?
Yeah.
This is how they would be seated, and then you're there.
Yeah.
And they're telling you all your
I've been through
wrongdoing
2 of
and
those,
how you're an evil
actually.
child
Yeah.
and how you won't make it in life because you just scratched your head. You know, it's just
But it's so
Yeah.
unhealthy.
it's very unhealthy. It's toxic.
Don't-
African aunties are toxic.
Yeah, Sengas.
You know, leave your parents alone. It's the aunties. It's the aunties that
She
are
had
very
good Sengas,
toxic.
so I can't even. Like, I
I
actually
say,
had
man, I've
really
had good.
great
I
ones.
got one auntie that's a bit.
Yeah, I've had great
Oh, the
Sengas.
aunties are the ones who will ask you when you're getting married
Yeah.
and having kids.
Okay, that part.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The aunties love asking.
I feel like most African homes give aunties a lot of power because even when you get married, it's your aunties that talk to you about how you
Yeah,
should
for
run the
some
household
reason.
and the other
your dad's sisters and stuff.
Yes.
It's like the Sangha.
Yeah.
But I just think it's so unhealthy, especially now in a day and age where we're talking about more dialogue on mental health, the importance of communicating, like healthy marriages and stuff. You can't now look at your kids and be like, don't talk back. Like, be like, okay, what is it that you're going through?
Yeah.
Tell me what's wrong. Like, actually have conversations with your children.
Also, that's a very good point.
Yeah,
but
and check
also,
them when they are.
Yeah, but also it's learned behavior.
Yeah, it is learned behavior.
So like my great grandfather raised and it triggers down, and and my mum and dad didn't know any better.
Yeah.
They know, I mean, they just thought this is how I was raised. I've turned out okay. I've left from the Caribbean. I've come to London. I'm making something of myself. This is how I'm gonna raise my children.
Because this is how I was raised.
That's how I was raised. And I don't.
But
they haven't seen another way.
Yeah. Because now we're exposed to so much more, right?
But, yeah, we're exposed to so much more. Yes, and like I have children, and
how old are they?
So
he's actually a granddad. I'm sorry to tell you a story.
Yeah, so yeah, just like I'm a lot older than I look.
Wow, you're a whole judger.
Yeah, straight. So so I take the positives from how my parents raised me, and the times where I just felt like I want to just literally run, just like I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Like, so I raised my kids with like how bad I felt after certain situations.
Okay.
I don't want anyone to feel like that, let alone my children.
Okay.
So So I just take the best parts.
And you have open dialogue, I'd hope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So going back to my parents, they didn't know any better.
Yeah.
But as time has gone on, and we've both gotten older, and my parents have seen how I've raised my kids.
Right.
Yeah.
And my kids are well mannered, they're polite, they're not rude. Like so my mum and dad are seeing, well, he doesn't beat them, and he doesn't he's just showing them through love and through experience, like you learn.
Yeah.
And I think that's my parents have come around. I remember one day I was the hood barber when I was growing up. So I was the guy with the one clippers and a soldering iron, and I'd cut everybody in my hood. I'd cut their hair. The clippers would burn out. I would cut a new wire, solder it back in, and cut the next guy.
Wow.
So I got really good, but I never went to a barbershop. And I still cut my dad's hair to this day. And I remember one time I was cutting his hair, and he goes to me, "Stephen, when you was younger and I used to discipline you and I used to get upset, did you understand the cause or the root of my anger? Do you understand what I was trying to get across to you?" So, no, it was just lost in the pain. And I was cutting his hair. I had to stop because he just held his head down and he shook his head like that.
Oh.
Because he's now seeing through me and my kids, there's another way.
Yeah.
So one thing about my dad I get from him, he's very observant, and he's always about learning and progressing. So you take something on board and then you move forward with it. And he was just sat there and just shook his head like that, and I was shocked because this is the man he's maybe hugged me once.
Yeah.
So So it's getting and that's the important thing. They're realizing, they're open to realizing.
And you said they went to the UK when? They weren't.
They were like, no, they weren't born there. They got there, must have been 17.
Yeah, so they were immigrants. So they came with an understanding of something that they thought worked where they were.
That's
makes
it.
sense.
And then every other Caribbean community. So my dad's Dominican, my mum's from St. Kitts and Nevis, like Jamaican, Bajan, Barbados, Guyana, St. Lucia. We all raised the same.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we all share stories of the times we got beaten for doing something naughty and things like that. So we all raised the same. So the whole community's doing the same thing, and so they're like, yo, their kids are alright, their kids are alright. So it's just why is it to be changed? I'm okay, my kids are okay. So
they'll
this
be
is how I'm
fine.
gonna raise them.
To center it to African parents, I feel like most African parents became parents without, I don't think they wanted to that early.
You know,
I don't know if that makes sense.
You're right. Like I was talking to my mom the other day, and she was laughing because like now I'm 31. She had me. I'm the eldest at 25, and she literally like it was a funny like one of those like revelations like in your own mind, and she was just laughing. She was like like what was like essentially like what was I thinking having kids at 25? I think she probably would have waited to 30 or like a little bit later, but it's just this expectation.
Yeah,
to
I think some of them. I think some of them did have children because it is what was expected of them. Because with my mom got married really young. I don't want to say what age, but she was really, really young. She was just the parents couldn't afford her school fees and whatnot, so she ended up having like that was the next choice. Like you can't stay home. There's no money at home. So how about you find something to do? And then it's like, that goes. You have to be a mother. And there's so many. Most of the mothers for that time, they were really young. It's like what that's what society wanted out of them. Like just be a mom. There's no training, no teaching. It's like a child raising a child. It's like we're all learning on the job.
Your brain stops developing at 25. So I was just thinking like, girl, you got married at 24. Like the minute she was done uni, it was like everyone was getting married, and she was considered one of the later ones. People were getting married in school. 25. People were getting married in uni. People were having children. And I'm like, that's like, it's okay. That's totally fine. But I feel like that there weren't as many tools and resources at that time, whereas now I feel like there's a lot more conversation around a lot more things.
I want to ask Maintain, do you think your strict upbringing caused you trauma in any way? Because now people are like, oh, you have childhood trauma, or you need to walk through it and whatnot.
That's a great question.
I
believe it has, but for me it's hard pinpointing it, what my triggers are. I think maybe what the aftermath of the discipline in my home is my temper. So I'm very laid back, I'm very chill. It takes a lot to upset me.
But then when
I do go,
it's
literally I'm even at shock at myself when I calm down. I sit at home, I'm like, who was that person? And I think that's what it is. I think my temper and dealing with certain situations with physicality is the
But are you grateful for how you were brought up?
I wouldn't have been raised any other way.
Precious too?
Same.
You're grateful?
I am.
The loaded question.
You're like, are you sure?
No, I'm actually also grateful because I feel like one thing, A, B, C, you understand, one thing leads to another. So whether you liked it or not, it's like who you are today is what like you're
exactly.
It's okay. And if you're watching this, extend some grace to your parents. They didn't know what they were doing.
I love you.
This episode
it's just,
is dedicated
it was a little bit
to
hard
them.
getting those whoopings. Could have took a couple 20% off.
It's understandable. But guys, thank you so much. This was deep.
I liked it.
I was like, oh my god, I unpacked so much.
But thank you guys. For someone who's just watching this, tell them your socials, please.
So my socials are DJmaintain. Been doing it for a while. So if you type DJmaintain into Google, everything will come up. That's mixes, that's social medias, YouTube, and my vlog.
Okay, and same. So at Racheal Nalumu on YouTube and Instagram. You could also Google, it's the same thing. Just my name, Racheal Nalumu. Pop up.
And for Kenganda, same. Kenganda Nation everywhere on all social media platforms. Make sure you like this video and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.
See you.